Hello everyone, it's been a while. Firstly, I got a new microphone. So if my sound does not sound like
Absolute
absolute
garbage.
garbage, it's because I got a new mic. Unfortunately, it's kind of chunky, so you don't see my beautiful mouth and my beautiful face entirely, but don't worry when I'm doing lives, because I'm doing lives too. The link of my Twitch is in my description, and I kind of need people to talk to because streaming for 4 hours straight is not really fun when you're alone. So yeah, I got a new mic. I'm going to put it on the corner after that quick introduction like for my lives, so the sound might be a little different, might be less good, I guess. I guess. Also, I just wanted to warn you that even if I'm not too bad in English, I don't have any script. Like, actually, I'm speaking to you without any script, so I might do some mistakes. Don't bother me with it, I don't fucking care. Don't have hesitation to tell me in the comment if I say anything wrong, on the wrong way or anything. It's going to be quite long to record everything in English. I've already done a tutorial about Auto 4 on my French channel, and it was a pain in the ass to record, so in English it's going to be even worse. So don't have hesitation to just tell me, you sucks, you said that thing wrong on the wrong way, because like that I'm not going to read them. So don't have hesitation and forgive me, please. Other things, when I made this video, my last video actually, I kind of lied when I say that I had no idea of what I wanted to do. At the moment I was editing it, I kind of knew what I wanted to do after that. Like, for example, I'm going to make 3 videos on Auto 4 for beginners, really beginners, to explain the game a little bit. So the first one, this one is going to be a tutorial about kind of the basics. So that's it. Thanks for watching that quick introduction, and let's go to the video. I hope that is going to help you. I have new projects, I'm kind of hyped, and I have some time to spend, so I'm going to do my best. So yeah, see ya. Okay, so just before we start, I'm going to present you how to get the game, and you're going to tell me, Miss, you are a dumbass. Because to get the game, you go on Steam, you buy it, and that's it. Right, but there's a way better way to get it. That way is called instant gaming. It's not a commercial, I would like to, but it's a website where you can get some promotions on games, and Auto 4 is one of those that are really good. You get the game for basically nothing, not even 1/4 of its price, so it's great. Okay, you can see that the background is different because I unfortunately forgot to disable all of the DLCs, so I'm going to present you the game without any of them, because when you buy the game, of course that you don't have any kind of DLCs. Let's start simple. First, single player, new game, and you have now 2 choices. The first one is 1936 and the second one is to start in 1939. Let me explain you the basic. Auto 4 is a really unique strategic game because you have what's called a focus tree. A focus tree is a big chunky tree, like a kind of like on RPGs, where with time you can get a focus. Every focus gives you something different. I'm going to go back to that later on, but you have to choose 1936 because with that you can choose the way you want to go, because if you choose 1939, a big part of the focus tree and the events already happen and have already been done. So go with 1936 to start. On all the countries that you can play, don't go with like if you play the US, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to play the US, or for myself, I'm going to be like, I'm going to play France. No, don't play any of those countries right now, though. Start with Germany, with our lovely mustache man. I'm going to explain you during the whole video on why you should choose him to start with. So here is the map. As we already said, I'm going to start with Germany. Second thing, you have the difficulties, you stay on regular, there is no point going there. So you have Iron Man mod deactivated. So Iron Man mod is like the hard mod. You have no save, no way to restart at a certain point, so it's not a great way to start with. Historical AI focuses. Do you remember the focus tree? By activating that, the AI are going to choose a predefined path in their own focus tree. So AI are not only going to do their focuses in a defined order, they're also going to choose some events historically. So activate it to start the game. Sometimes if you want to have fun and that you have a little more experience in the game, deactivate it. It's kind of funny to see the world going into hell. When you start the game, you have a lot of things going on, and I do understand because I do remember the fact that it's complicated at the beginning. You don't even know how to move a division, you don't even know how to do anything. So don't worry, I'm well aware of that, and I'm going to do the best to explain you so more clearly and simply possible. The first thing I'm going to do is to present you everything on top of here, then all the panels, and finally explain you not that though, it's only notifications that tell you what you have to do, and when you click on it they're going to open a different panel. So first thing first, political power is a currency that is going to have a daily value. So this daily value is going to be influenced through a lot of stats that are going to depend on which country you're playing. For example, France has something that gives it way less daily political power. Germany has a great amount of political power, and it's only going to get better. Political power, the name says everything. Choose your government, your laws, your industry, etc, etc. That's the main currency of the game. It's like money, but for everything. Stability, the name speaks for itself. It's a stat that is going to say if your country is great or not. I'm going to speak like kind of RP. Stability is just the fact that your country is in a good shape or not. It's way simpler than that because it's only a statistic, but always try to be at more than 70% stability. It's the minimal, because if you are under 50% stability, you're going to have malus events that are going to decrease your stability even more, and when you're going to be at war, your stability is going to decrease. But with Germany, if you don't play too bad, it's going to be fine. War support, same thing, it's just a statistic. So if your war support is high enough, you're going to have some great stats when you are at war. As you can see here, stability is going to be influenced by your war support. So maintain 50% war support at least, but war support is way easier to get up. It's, for example, influenced by the war tension. War tension is the war tension. By some events, by declaring war, your war tension is going to be higher and higher. Manpower, really important. Manpower defines your reserves that you can use to recruit for your armies, your air force, your navy, but always be aware that manpower is key and it's not expendable. Not like your equipment, you don't produce more manpower. That defines the number of factories you have, that is the quantity of fuel you have. Really important with Germany, for example. This is your logistic, you don't really care, just produce train, trucks and convoys. That is your command power. Your command power is a currency to recruit generals and take actions in battle. I'm going to explain you that later. And this is experience. You can get experience by two ways that I'm going to explain later. Okay, so we have done everything here. It's really simple. Political power, stability, war support, manpower. You don't really care about 2-3. That is also just to show you how many fuel you have left. And this is other currencies that you can use for multiple things that I'm going to explain right after. So now, political panel, click on the flag right on top of here, and you're going to see your leader, your focus tree. You're going to have access to your focus tree. You have your national spirits, and you have all your government thing, and also your ideology and your faction. So first things first, your default leader, not really here, but your leader at least. Some leaders give some stats. As you can see, their guy gives a bonus of political power gain, as I told you here, but also some malus. You also have national spirits. So all of them give stats. Some gives good stats, some of them gives both. Why do you play Germany? Because, for example, France only has bad stats, but Germany has really decent buffs, and you can easily improve them a lot, because there is 3 ways to improve your national spirits: to remove them or to modify them. So the less used one is sometimes by decisions, like as you can see, Mythobites can be influenced by decisions. And even sometimes some national spirits are just going to expire with time, but the majority of it, basically 90% of your national spirits, are going to be influenced by your focus tree. And god damn it, the German one is a chunky one, but don't worry, it's really simple. I'm going to use another example as a focus tree. So some nations like Germany has a focus tree, but some others don't have a personal focus tree. That's because there is three kind of countries: the major countries, the minor interesting countries, and the minor countries. So the major countries are Germany, France, the UK, Soviet Union, Italy, Japan, and the United States. All of these countries have a personal focus tree, which gives a lot of things, personal national spirits, but there is also some minor interesting countries. Those countries are not a major, but they have a personal focus tree. To explain how focus trees work, I'm going to show you the basic focus tree. So when you're not an interesting minor countries, you can still have a focus tree, but this one is the basic focus tree that all the other countries have. So to divide your focus tree, it's usually that way. On military branches, so you have infantry, army, air force, navy. Your industrial path, which leads to a lot of factories, usually some bonus for production, etc., etc. So it's basically your economy. And usually the most interesting part, the political part. For the basic, you can go fascist, communist, neutral, or a weird democratic one, I don't know. But for the major, you have a personal focus tree. So you have the big chunky political tree here, you have an industrial part here, and you have here the military branches. So your focus tree gives a lot of things. For Germany, for example, I'm going to do that focuses. It's going to last for 35 days, because as I explained, time is bad thing. You can change the speed of the time, and with that, my focuses is going to take some days, and it's going to do the things right here. So I'm going to demilitarize that part of my country because I can't move any kind of troops here because it's a demilitarized area. With that, it's going to give me political power and some army XP. You also have in that panel your faction, so you can create faction. You also have your ideology, which is going to define the way you kind of play the game. So, to explain, democracies can justify a war against other democracies or countries that did not generate any war tension. So you're more going to be more passive, or if you have your own focus tree, you can get some war goals against other countries with it. But if you don't, you're just going to wait for someone to declare war on you, basically, or to declare war on someone that generated a lot of war tension. You have non-align, which is an ideology that can only justify war goals at a certain amount of war tension. So if war tension is higher than, I don't know, 40%, you can start justifying a war goal against any country you want. Communism and fascism kind of work the same way here. They can just declare war right away at any moment they want. You have now your laws and your government. So for the laws, you have your conscription law, which consists to rise up the number of manpower you can get from your core population. But after a moment, you're going to get more debuff because you're using more men to fight in your army, so your population is going to have less people to work in the factories. You also have the trade law, which consists on the number of resources you're going to sell away to other countries. So you have resources in the game. For example, Netherlands has only 8 steel and Germany has a lot more. So by using the trade law, you can reduce or increase the number, the percentage of resources you're going to sell to other countries. If you sell nothing, you're going to get nothing, but you have all of the resources. But if you sell a lot of it, you're going to get a lot of bonuses. You have then your economy laws. So to explain quickly, you have civilian industry. Civilian industries are the factories to build factories. So as you can see, I'm building actually something here on my territory, and I have 50 factories on it. Fact is, if I'm building more, as you can see, I don't have enough factories to completely build something. By having civil industry, you can build more things, but a part of it is used as a consumer goods. Consumer goods is, by your AP way, the amount of factories that you're going to use for the good of your people. Economic law gives you the ability to have less consumer goods. So as I can advise you is to go to war economy. It's the best one. Beyond that, you're going to give a lot of your population, which you don't want to. You have now your government. Your government is basically people that you're going to hire to give you stats. Here, for example, I'm going to have less stability, but I'm going to get a lot of other stats, etc. You have your theorists. So theorists are going to give you reduction on your doctrines. So for your ground army, your navy, your air force, you're going to get experience that's going to give you the ability to buy some doctrines, and those guys can reduce the amount of doctrines and sometimes even have some other bonuses. So that's good, but it's not a priority. Then you have your military staff. So military staff are generals and people that are going to give you some stats. So you have chief of armies, navies, and air force that are going to give you daily experience and some stats depending on which one you're going to choose. Because yes, to get experience, you can train your units, which can be Navy, Air Force, or just your ground units, but you can also gain experience with those guys. And you can also, of course, gain experience by being at war. But those guys can give you a lot of experience if you are at peace. And you also have your military high command. They're going to give you more command power limits. So actually my limit is 80 command power, but with those guys I can increase that limit plus get some stats. So now we have done the chunkiest panel. So all you have to remember is that everything here needs political power. As I told you, political power is a really important currency. I'm going to fly away decisions basically with political power, and with some conditions you can have some political action, war effort action, and specific action depending on which country you're playing. Research. So research are really important. Basically, you can research things that are going to take some time, and it gives you a new technology or something. It depends. You have your infantry, so basically improving your infantry equipment, gaining some special forces like mountaineers, marines, paratroopers. You can also have some support companies that are going to give you things to help your infantry. You have your armor things, you have your artillery branches, you have your navy stuff, you have your air force stuff. Germany is up to date for basically everything, so that's great. You have your engineering stuff, which is for research, radio, and even after that on the late game, nuclear research and other things. And you have finally the most important, your industry. It can be kind of confusing, but what I can suggest you is always go with the basics. That one for more research speed, because research is key. That one for a better production, and that one for a better construction speed. So those ones are the basics. You have at least 2 research slots, so always research those 2 ones depending on the country you play. But if you play with Germany, you have 4 of them, which is a lot, and you can get even more. So what I can suggest you is basically getting up to date all the fucking time. You have now diplomacy, you don't really care, that's useless. You have trade. So as I explained you have resources. You're going to give some of your resources in exchange of some factories. Like for example here, trade exports is giving me 4 more factories. So it's great, but in the case of Germany, you don't really care because you already have a good industry, but you also have a lot of resources, so it's not a big matter. Fact is, you have a lot of resources, but you don't have all of them. So what you can do is, in exchange of a civilian factory, you can trade some resources. Like for example, I'm going to buy 8 rubber. In exchange of 1 factory, I can buy way more, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to buy 1. Germany is also lacking a bit of fuel, so you can boost a little bit your fuel because you're going to use it by exporting it with other countries. Always try to verify if you don't overbuy it, because as you can see, if I overbuy it, it's going to be yellow and say you have way more than you need to, and it's a waste of industry. Industry speaking, let's talk about it. So you have 4 important things to build. So you have the basic civilian industry. Civilian industries gives you the ability to build things. The 50 you see here is the number of factories, of civilian factories that I'm going to use to build. As I can suggest you is to build some civilians at the beginning, plus alternate with military factories, which gives you the ability to make equipment. The third most important thing to build are infrastructures. So as you can see, there is a statistic on all of my provinces. That's the percentage of infrastructure. It goes by 20 to 20% and it defines the speed you're building at and also the number of resources you can get. By building infrastructure on a province, you can get more construction speed and more resources. As you can see here, I suggest you to at least have 60% because it's not too bad, it's not too good, but it's great that way. And Germany has only 60% infrastructures. Don't build too much of them, you're going to get a lot of them through focus tree too, because yeah, your focus tree on the industrial part usually gives you some more sieves, some more infrastructures. You also have as interesting thing, it's not a major, but it's really interesting and I can only suggest you to build some synthetic refineries. So basically Germany does not have a lot of rubber and oil, so you can build it to get more rubber and some more oil. You also have dockyards that gives you the ability to build some ships and convoys, but it's kind of all. For the rest of it, you can discover it by your own, but it's not so important. Also, little tip, when you're building one factory, it's going to be yellow because you can build more. You can click on Shift and click again, and it's going to build the maximum factories you can have in one state. Shift is one of your keys that you're going to use a lot. It's really useful for a lot of things. And Shift can also be used to move things quickly. Like for example, I'm going to build a lot of sheets everywhere, and oh my god, I don't want to drag that all the way here. So I'm just going to click on Shift and click here to move it right on top or right on the bottom. So basically what I suggest you to do with Germany to begin with, you can then choose to do whatever you want, is to build some factories like alternates, build some civilian factories and some mills factories that way. Do that like in 1938, and at that moment switch to only mills to build a lot more equipment. Since I'm talking about mills, let's talk about your production. So production is really important. You have equipment for your armies, for you have also your planes, you have your tanks, you have your subs and all the boats, so it's really important to keep your production going. So basically your mills define the number of mills you can use to build more equipment. What I can suggest to you is focus on infantry equipment, also support equipment, really useful, artillery, really cool. Yeah, I'm going to build some tanks, some trucks, planes are really important, let's build 2 of them. I'm not going to explain all the Navy and the Air Force stuff. It's not super complicated without the DLC, but no, I don't want to. It's already going to be too long to explain everything. Always build one train on the background because you never have enough trains as a minor or even a major sometimes. Do the same for the convoys because basically you're going to need them to trade everything. You're going to use it for your supply too. You're going to get more mills. Germany has a lot of it. And yes, that's it. Do whatever you want, but focus on infantry and support artillery. Those are the 3 big ones. But as Germany, you are a powerful major, so you should not worry too much about equipment. You then have the panel to recruit divisions. So as you can see, there is a lot of divisions everywhere, and those divisions can be seen here. So you can see the templates of it. Germany has already some really good templates, so don't worry too much about it. You have Panzer divisions, they are not really great, but for AI it's going to be enough. Same for the mechanized. So everything on infantry equipment, that's going to be your main division, and Panzer, that's going to be some elite divisions, but I'm going to make some shorts about it to explain you how to use your army as well as possible. Once again, a shift can be used to train immediately 5 more divisions. You can choose where you have to put and deploy your divisions, and after some times and when it's going to get all of its equipment, you can have your division, but you can also force deploy some divisions if you want to. You have here your logistics, so there is a lot of number, and as I know you don't like to read, but basically it's the number of equipment you have in your stockpile and the number you're producing every day. You have here a quick panel to get to your doctrines, but once you get enough experience to improve a doctrine, you're going to have a little notification here, so don't worry too much about it. But you can have here a quick recap of your high command, your theorist, your chief of army. As Germany, for the doctrines, just use experience to move forward in your doctrine. Go to Blitzkrieg. It gives you some bonuses for your army, basically for your mobile army. For your navy, don't care. For your air force, just go the way you want. I don't care, we're not going to see that today. Now let's see your army, how to use it, how to play it, etc. So your army are going to be represented by two little divisions. Let's see how you can organize them at first. So first, shift, click, and select them all. Then you click here. That guy is going to be a general. You click here and you have now an army. You can give them orders, you can move them all at once because you can select them immediately by just clicking here. All of them are part of an army, but two things. First, it does not have any general, they're not going to get any bonuses or anything. Secondly, they are deorganized, they have no orders. So first things first, let's choose a general. Let's take him, good stats. So generals can basically give you better defense, better attack, better strategy, better supply, etc, etc. Some generals are going to get medals that are going to give them even more stats. So it's always interesting to have some generals, but having generals gives you something else. They can deal with too much divisions. So I'm going to remove some divisions so that it don't overplay with it. So all those divisions cannot have a general and be given order. Oh, that's great. I'm going to make a front line against Poland and invade them. How do I do to put those divisions here? Because if I do that, I'm going to reassign them to that guy. He already has the maximum of divisions he can get. So that's bad. Don't you worry. Select the armies you want to and click on that big portrait on your left. Do that and you're going to give them a marshal. That guy is going to give you more stats, even more stats. And most of all, is going to give the ability to command your whole army. Like for example, I'm doing that order with that guy and all of my divisions are now going to go at the same order. But he also has a limit of armies he can handle. So for example, if I'm doing like that and like that, like I'm giving two armies to that guy, this guy is going to have its limit, and if I'm doing that and give him another army, this guy won't be able to handle them all. Two armies are going to get some debuff. So don't do that, just give him the good amount of army he can get. So now let's see the orders you can give to your armies. The front line, the basics. So click and left click and your whole front line is going to go there. But let's admit you don't want your army to go there. You can select again frontline and edit it. So you maintain a right click here and you drag all the way you want to, and your army is only going to go that way. You can also do that at the beginning by left click, maintain the right click and slice all the way here for your army to go. And now that's it, they have the order. But you can also do that with a field marshal, but it's a bit different. Click to the front line and do not do just left like that. As you can see, the front line is pretty ugly and, well, it's not really organized. But don't worry, there is a way to handle that. You have to just left click, shift, and left click. And now your front line is clean. All your divisions are assigned to that front line. You can also do the same thing, shift and maintain the right click and so slide the front line to a specific border, and you can even do another front line if you want, as well as for your generals. Okay, last tip with the front line. If you take an army and that you have two front lines, you can right click right on the general, and as you can see, his divisions are going to be reorganized on both front line. But what's the point of building a front line if you can give an order? You can just draw an offensive line. So offensive line are a way to attack automatically your enemy. Select it as well as for your front line, maintain, right click and slice all the way down here. So that is going to be an order, and if you click on that little arrow and that you are at war against, for example here Poland, you're going to give the order for your soldier to attack. You can select here the execution order and tell them if they have to go aggressively or not. Okay, the rest of the orders are not so important. The only one I'm going to give you is full backline, so you can drag a backline on your own territory. And for example, if you want to prepare a strategy, like for example, retreat all the way down here to defend your country, let's imagine that. You also have the defense area orders, so basically when you select a tile or something, all your units are going to defend to the states. Now that we give order to our armies, let's see how we can give orders to our own and single divisions. Super simple. First, you can, as I said, right click on a direction and they're going to go here. But if you want, for example, to go all the way to Hanover, just have to click here. And as you can see, this division is going to take some time. So you can press B and it's automatically going to use the railway. And as you can see, your division is going to go way faster. But let's say, for example, that you want for your divisions to go to Hanover, but then to Hamburg, to make some hamburger, let's say that, and then to Berlin to go to Berlin. So you want to do that, then click on Hamburg, but you can because it's only going to go to the direction you clicked. So for that, you click to Hanover, for example, and you maintain Shift. Once again, Shift is the best key in the game. And then maintain Shift, right click, and they're going to go to the direction you selected. And then let's go back to Berlin, and even let's go back to the place you were. By maintaining Shift, you can make your divisions going everywhere you want. So now you know how to select your divisions, move your divisions on the tile you want, and even giving them a simple order, like to attack Poland, for example, here. So I think the only thing you need to know before leaving that tutorial, because it's already going to be way too long, is how a war is going to happen and what's going to happen when you win it or lose it, maybe, but I don't hope that for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is not to attack Poland, but the Netherlands, because with that you can easily understand 3 other aspects of the game. So let's do that and let's justify a war. First, you have to right click on another country so you can see their leader, if they give or not some terrible statistic. You can also see their political situation, like for example their puppets, their faction. You can see their political parties, their flag, their stability, their war support, the relations they have with you, and also if they have or not a focus tree. And even sometimes when they give a lot of intel, you can see where they are in their focus tree and which focuses they do. For the case, you right click on Netherlands and you have a lot of decisions that you can do: guarantee independence, non-aggression pact, etc, etc. I'm going to justify war, conquer, and you can then select the states you want to justify on. Don't select all the states, it's only going to take way
more time,
and it's going to cost way more political power. We have enough political power, so let's justify and let's wait. Okay, so here is our war goal. Click here, select an order, don't care, put it all the way to your front line here. Why do we attack Netherlands? So first, it's to show you how it works, basically. Also, Netherlands has what it's called a puppet. So a puppet is a state, a country, that is basically the bitch of another country. So for example, the Netherlands has the Dutch East Indies. Warsaw is a beautiful place because it gives a lot of resources. Basically, puppets gives a part of their industry to their masters. And here we go, Netherlands capitulated and it's going to start the peace deal. So you have 4 decisions without any DLCs. You can annex a territory, you can liberate a territory, you can change governments, but those 2 ones have no real points actually. Just make puppets if you don't want to annex the territories, because when it's not a core, you're going to have some resistance, etc, and you're not going to have the whole part of the industry and manpower. But as I'm going to do, I'm just going to annex Netherlands and their colony because I'm going to get a lot of resources out of it. And I'm going to just puppet the Dutch Indies, and like that I'm going to get a part of their industry, and even if I don't have the DLCs, I can buy cheap resources out of them. And after you select the states you wanted to control, you can just leave. The German Reich is greater than ever. I have a puppet, the German East Indies, and I have some other territories. I can have now some more resources and getting a lot more from my puppet and even some industry. I hope that this tutorial was good enough for you. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me in comment. I'm going to make more videos about the basics in Auto War 4, so don't hesitate to subscribe if you liked it. I'm really sorry for my English. I hope that you could understand everything and that I didn't make too much mistakes. Don't hesitate once again to tell me in the comments. Ciao!